Hello everyone. Today I am going to show you how to generate permutation of a list. So the first I will show you the basic algorithm to calculate different permutation of a list, and then we will code this algorithm into Python code. Yeah, so let's start. So let's assume we have a list 1, 2 and 3. So we have a list 1, 2 and 3. So we will do a tree traversal to generate those permutations. So let's start at the root. We have 1, 2 and 3. So from here we can pick 1, or we can pick 2, or we can pick 3. So we have 3 different choices to make here. So after picking 1 we left with 2 and 3. After picking 2 we left with 1 and 3 here. Now, after picking 3, we left with 1 and 2. Now, we left with 2 and 3. Here we have two choices. So, we can either pick 2 or either we can pick 3. So, after picking 2, we left here as a 3. And here we will left with 2. Now here we have only one option because there is only one element in the list, so we will pick 3. After picking 3, we have empty list. So whenever we encounter empty list, we will stop the tree traversal. Similarly here, now we have 2, only 2, so we can only take 2 here. So we will pick 2 and we will end up in the empty list and we will stop the recursion. Similarly, at this 1 and 3, we have option of 1 and 2. So let's pick 1 at one branch and pick 3 at another branch. After picking 1, so we left with 3. Now we have only one element here. So what we will do, we will pick this element and we will end up in a empty list. Now here we pick 3, so we left with 1. Now there is only one element, so we can only pick 1 itself here. here. So we will pick only 1 here. So after picking 1, we will end up in a empty list. Now at this here we have two choices, so we can go for 1 or we can pick 2. So after picking 1, what we left with? We left with 2, and here we left with uh, 1. So now also we end up here has a one element, so we can only pick two here, and we end up in an empty list. Now we have only one choice, that is picking one. Yeah. So now we end up in the tree traversal. Now we will see what all the permutation of it, this 1, 2 and 3. So we will traverse to each path of this tree. So let's pick the first path. So first path is this 1, this 2, then this 3. So we will write it down. 1, 2, 3. So what is the next path? So this is 1, this one we will take, and this 3 and this 2, another path. So we will write the next permutation. 1, 3 and 2. Now we will pick another path. So we have 2, 1 and 3. So we will write it down. So 2, 1 and 3. Now we will choose next path. So next path consists of this 2, this 3 and this 1. So we will write it down. 2, 3 and 1. Then we will go to the next path. So next path is 3, 1 and 2. So we will write this down. So 3, 1 and 2. There is now one more path that consists of 3, 2 and 1. So we will write this down. 3, 2, 1. So now we have total of 6 permutations. So these are the permutation of 1, 2 and 3. So total we have a 6. Now you got the gist of the permutation of a list algorithm. Now I will show you how to code in Python. So let's start coding. So we have a list. So let's store in the nums variable. Then we have a current permutation. So we will store the current permutation in perm variable, and then we have another perms variable where we will store the all the permutation of the particular list. So let's define one function named permutation. So these are the arguments nums, perm and permutation. Perms. We will first code the main part. So what we saw in the algorithm, first we will pick one element from the particular list, and then we will iteratively pass the new list with the with in the overall recursion tree. So let's code it. So we will traverse to the all the list, all the element in the list. So we will write the code. So we are now traversing. So first thing, we have to pick the this element and put into the current permutation. So let's create new perm and we will pick permutate forms from. So picking this particular element is nums into idx. Yeah, and because this is a list, so we will add a list so that it can actually extend that particular list. Now because we have already picked the one element from the list, now we have to create a new list so that we can pass the new list the into the recursion tree. So we will pick a new list. So new list is simply nums. We will pick up to the particular idx. So idx, because we do not have to include this number, so in python idx is like exclusive. So and then we'll pick from after this idx. So idx plus 1 till the end. So this is the how we will pick. Now simply we will call again the recursion tree with the new list and then with the new current permutation. So we have the new list is new nums is the new list is the new nums, and then current permutation in new perms, and we will not change anything because this will store the all the permutation. So this now we have wrote the main logic of the code. As in the graph I have shown you earlier, we are stopping when the list is become empty. So we will write the logic here. So when length of nums equal to 0, then we are stopping. So we will add in the perms list, we will add permutation, current permutation. Yeah, so now we are done with the code. Now we will return because the perms variable will store the final permutation. We will return this. So now let's run the code. Now let's define some list with some elements. So let's define 1, 2, and 3, and then we will call this permutation. So initially current permutation is null, empty, and also overall permutation is empty. Yeah. So we can see these are the 6 permutation of a 1, 2, and 3. Let's try with some other number. Yeah. So these are the number of permutation of 1, 2, and 3, and 4. So let's try some other number 1, 2. So there is for 1 and 2 we have permutation of 1, 2, and 2, 1. So this is how we code permutation of a list in Python. So that's all from my side. Thank you.